Any psychic power that can be used while in a perfectly conscious state of mentality is helpful. Many have this power and find that it is helpful as well as interesting. This power can be developed by knowing that the within and the without are really one. In certain psychic states, people can see, hear and read others' thoughts, travel abroad and perform many other marvelous feats, which in the conscious state seem impossible. No doubt the time will come when all these powers will be under the control of the conscious mind. Man will then be much less limited. Clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is a state of mentality wherein the medium is able to see things that the objective eye cannot see under normal conditions on this plane. It is the physical eye reproduced on the mental side of life, only with a greatly extended vision. Time, space and abstractions are swept away, and the operator can as easily look through a closed door as, in a normal state, he looks through a window. Psychometry. Psychometry is a clairvoyant state wherein the operator is able to psychometrize or read from the soul or subjective side of things. Mention has already been made of the fact that everything has its mental atmosphere, which is the result of the thoughts surrounding it. To psychometrize anything means to read from this mental atmosphere and to tell what irradiates. Sometimes the operator seems able to take a piece of ore or metal and give a perfect description of the location from which it was taken. This will explain why some mediums wish to hold an object which has been used by the sitter, for through this avenue the medium is able to enter the inner thought of the person sitting. Clairaudience. Clairaudience may be called the ear of the soul. It is the ability to hear the inner voice speak, and is a most remarkable mental attribute. Some hear these voices silently, while to some they come as independent voices. It appears as though the instinctive man tries to tell the outer man of certain things. Sometimes these come as visions, and sometimes in dreams. This power is uncertain and should be carefully watched, as we are now not always able to tell whether the impression is real or simply some suggestion of a surrounding mental influence. A good way to test this is to know that all impressions must come from the perfect mind. Independent voices. Sometimes independent voices speak forth apparently from the air and may be conversed with by the hour. I have talked with these voices, but so far have not been able to determine whether or not they ever told anything beyond the subjective knowledge of those present. I have been unable to satisfy myself as to whether they were caused by those present in the flesh, or whether they were caused by some form of spirit life. The fact remains that such voices do speak and that they are real. I have held animated and interesting conversation with such voices hours at a sitting, and it has been a most wonderful experience, but so far it seems impossible to determine their exact nature. Time and a more complete investigation alone can give the real proof. Apparitions. Apparitions or thought forms often appear during particularly mental time. For instance, people often see some friend just before he passes from this life. Sometimes the apparition appears before the incident takes place. An explanation of this will be made later in this chapter. This type of phenomenon is not at all uncommon. Nearly everyone has some record of such experiences. When one is asleep, it is entirely subjective, and this will explain why so many of the above referred to incidents take place during sleep. But impressions received while in the sleeping state do not always come to the surface. Projecting the mentality or astral projection. Under certain states of mentality, it is possible to project the mentality and travel far from the body. Just what it is that projects is difficult to say, and we are not so much concerned about what it is that projects as we are interested in the fact that there is something about the mentality which can project itself. Since there is but one mind, perhaps nothing else to project. Perhaps we simply see through the one mind, which must have and hold within itself all that it is. Automatic writing. Automatic writing is an interesting phenomenon of the mind. It is a mental control which uses the arm and hand for the purpose of writing messages. Some believe that the arm is under control of a discarnate spirit. Many and long have been the discussions on this point, and I do not care to enter into them. But one thing is certain, the phenomenon transpires, and many wonderful messages come through in this manner. Telekinetic energy is defined as the ability to move ponderable objects without physical contact. This form of energy is displayed in that class of mental phenomena which cause objects to move without any physical agency, and is therefore caused by some form of mental energy or by some agency other than physical. And levitation. The theory of ectoplasm certainly will not account for levitation, where the body of the medium is lifted from a chair and carried to some other place in the room. This can be accounted for only on the theory that there is a power that transcends the better known physical laws. Experience has taught that there are many things in life that cannot be accounted for on any other basis than that of a mind power which operates independent of any and of all physical agencies. It is interesting to realize that we have such marvelous powers, and no doubt the time will come when we shall make common use of them. They are for some purpose, and as we live in a timeless universe, this purpose will be made known just as soon as we are ready for it.